I'm Chosen Architect, and this is Mystical Block. Now, right off the bat, I want to talk a little bit about a past episode that I put out in regards to the rainbow generator. I just didn't really understand exactly how this mod wanted me to go ahead and set this up. However, I have set up rainbow generators in the past coming from normal extra utilities. But in this particular case, I didn't know that I needed to use a wrench. But I just wanted to clear things up. If you do want to use this rainbow generator, keep in mind it doesn't have the awesome rainbow effects, which is really the whole reason I wanted to set it up in the first place. And knowing that it doesn't actually have this is kind of sad. But if we go ahead and place down this generator, notice it just works. So apparently this generator just generates power without even needing anything in it. So this particular generator I'm just using as an example. But we place it here and we need to use this particular wrench. Apparently we shift right click here and then we can, just right click and it's going to bind to this generator. And so now you see 1 of 16 missing generators. So we would have technically had it all set up had I just linked it, except for the wither generator, which that one apparently requires very specific pipes and the way you access the power out of it for some reason is different than all the other ones. But this one apparently just runs on its own. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to kind of clear things up. There are still some bugs with this for sure, 100%. Yeah, the whole reason I wanted to set it up in the first place was for the cool rainbow effect. But it does still produce 25 million RF if that's something you're wanting. But as you just seen by last episode, it's pretty easy to get the creative generator. So I figured I might as well do that if I was going to make that thing. I still feel though super embarrassed that I couldn't figure that out. I didn't even notice there was a wrench. What was I thinking? Now, without further ado, let's get into the amazingness that is going to be today's episode. And with that, we are going to be diving into a way to access our transmutation tablet through refined storage. This is going to open up crafting and it is going to be really handy. Now to make this, we need a transmutation interface, and to get this all up and running, the transmutation interface is going to require the final EMC links. Now, as far as the final EMC links go, I think I almost have all of those made. I have all the way up to tier 15. And I think to take this, oh, actually, I might actually have them. Let me take this out. I've been working on upgrading all of these. So put that back in, that in. I just learned the final one. So we have all the way up to tier 15. It does appear. Yep, there's the tier 15. Now to go up to 16, this requires the final star shards, and these don't have EMC. So I am going to need to make these. Now to make the final star shards, this is where I need the colossal star omegas. I almost have those, and I just need 4 of these in order to make the colossal star omega. And so there's the colossal star omega. This, I do believe, is the one item in this pack that has the most EMC available. So if you were to get the final chest, this would be the thing to put into it to duplicate if you wanted like a ton of EMC, because this can produce 422 trillion EMC per one. But it's also going to cost us that much EMC in order to produce these final star shards. And as you can see, we're going to need a whole bunch of them. And I'm hoping I have enough EMC for this. I kind of need to do the math, to be fair. Let me do some calculations here. So from the looks of it, one of these final star shards is going to cost me about 3.8 quadrillion, which is the amount we have. We have 6 quadrillion right now. Just one of these star shards is going to cost us roughly 3 quadrillion. That is barely enough to make a single, we have barely enough to make a single final EMC link. However, I'm almost positive we can take the current setup we have and make way more of these. So all I'm going to need is way more MK flower pots. And of course, these are all handcrafted, but I should have plenty of EMC to be able to pull this out. And that is going to allow my pedestal, which should reach a 9x9. It should be able to reach all of these, even if they're in the floor and so on and so forth, with this room being filled with them. As you can tell, I really want this item to be able to access my tablet. So I don't have to keep accessing it. I wanted to be able to access it for my refined storage so bad. So I may have done a thing. Yeah, This is something I wouldn't normally do, but I just, you know what? I want that EMC, and I'm just pushing for it. Honestly, I should fill an entire chunk with these and just have the entire thing layered with pedestals, because we can't make higher than MK13s without, well, spending billions of EMC and yeah, it just really, is it worth it? I have no idea. So in case you don't remember the recipe for the next tier, which is the MK14, which produces 4.68 billion per second, but yeah, wow. I mean, we have all this stuff, but wow, it's a lot of stuff. Now, you know, it'd be fun while I'm waiting on EMC to build up? Building. So I want to do what I'm, you know, best at, and that's building. So I'm thinking of actually getting those areas set up that I really wanted to get set up that I'd mentioned a few episodes ago, which were these castle-esque structures or spirals that are going to be on top of each of these areas. And I want to color code them to match and be their own individual color related to the island. But in that, I also want to make the middle part of the island a little bit more symmetrical. These are not perfectly symmetrical, but the middle part, I want it to kind of be round on the outside to match what is ultimately going to happen to these islands. Now that's what I call some building. Oh, I am loving this. And as you can see, I have built these giant cranes that kind of look like they're help holding these islands up with what kind of, to my mind, appears to be a magnet, sort of this like levitation thing going on here. But this is actually more than just these cranes. So eventually we're going to need to house a giant sphere with Draconic Evolution. So I sort of had that in mind when building this area up and getting all these islands changed, converting it to this darker material, which is cyan terracotta, by the way. And I now have these islands sort of color coded, and they can be used. So all of this can be used as useful space for all kinds of modded stuff that I can put up here. Like, for example, if we go and get into, I don't know, some power from the power mod, which we're going to eventually need to craft the creative chest anyways. But yeah, I love this. I loved using these like grindstones as a chain. There's not a large chain in this pack, unfortunately. So I went ahead and used this, which I think looks kind of cool. And of course we have our pathways that lead up into here, still keeping the same sort of theming going on. And I think it turned out pretty good. I couldn't ask for any better. The only thing I can think of is maybe this, instead of these spruce stairs, should maybe be stone stairs. And that might make it look a little bit better. You know what? Yep, that actually looks a whole lot better. So I'm definitely going to go with the stone stairs for this instead. But this whole area is looking pretty good. So I'm excited. I'm excited because this is going to lead us into more stuff. And while I was doing all this, we now have 48 quadrillion EMC. So yes, I did spend a little bit of time doing this, as you can definitely tell by the EMC gains that you've probably seen throughout each of the steps in this process. So what's next? Well, I'm going to see if this is going to be enough EMC to craft the thing that I was wanting to craft in the first place. The transmutation interface, which I feel is going to be so helpful in our journey to completing all of the creative items. So I think I can do it. We definitely have enough to complete this. I was doing the math and it looks like we're going to need at least 9. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 final star shards. And with the final star shards, we are going to need roughly 72 of the colossal star omegas. And so I put them in here to count them up, and we now have exactly 72, which means I should be able to make all of the final star shards just like so, and thus making all 4 of these. Oh boy, these are the final tier, which have the ability to have infinite amounts of them pulled out of items and fluids. Oh my goodness. And that's going to lead to the transmutation interface. Yes. The one item that I have wanted that honestly feels like a creative item, but it's not. It's still going to utilize how much EMC we have, but all we need is a storage interface. This thing right here, an external storage. And we just need to hook this up with a cable to our transmutation interface. And this is going to be amazing. So where do I want to put this? I mean, we can put it right here and access it from the corner, I think. Oh boy. Okay, so this going right here, and then we put the storage onto it, and then make sure to put the priority to a higher number than everything else that you're utilizing, and that's going to make sure that, well, things get EMC'd back into it. However, there are a few caveats and a few problems that you may encounter with this, is things that are EMCable that, well, you don't want going into it, such as enchanted gear that you may treasure. Don't accidentally toss it into your refined storage system, as it will remove the enchants and stuff off of them. So keep that in mind. Now, the other cool part is this should teach things to our system as well. It should be able to teach us things that we don't already have learned. So when we do crafting and stuff, and we do it from here, we should be able to put the things back in. You can see all of the items now that have EMC. We can now see them inside of a refined storage system. All of the ones that we've learned, and we can now craft from that. No longer do we have to use the transmutation tablet. We can simply use our refined storage system from this point forward. Oh, this is nice. Now with this particular setup, I think we should kind of jump into a new mod, and that's going to be Botania. I think Botania is going to take the longest amount of time to sort of prep things up for the end sort of material that we're going to need, which is ultimately going to be the everlasting guilty pool. And this thing is not crazy hard to get. All of these things basically require us to fight Gaia. Gaia is a pretty easy boss to battle. And so that's not going to be the hard part. The hard part is going to be acquiring the mana and getting all of this stuff set up. It is just kind of a lengthy process. So in doing so, and it takes up quite a bit of space, I don't want to do it here on my base. What I want instead is I want to go to another dimension. And I think a good dimension to actually do this in is going to be the Twilight Forest, believe it or not. Now, of course, going to this dimension requires us to have a portal at our base, but I don't even want that at our base. So what we can use instead are these dislocators and the dislocator pedestals. These are pretty cool, and they're easy ways to travel if you have Draconic Evolution installed. So this will allow me to just simply teleport to any given location so long as I have a dislocator that was bound to that location placed inside of it. And we can also rename them in an anvil and they will display. So this is a pretty cool thing. So let's go to the Twilight Forest real quick. I'm going to have to build another portal to it because I kind of broke mine. But we'll be able to go there, set up a little bit of an area, and then, yeah, use a dislocator on it. Now, of course, before I leave, I do want to set my respawn location. And so I'm going to go ahead and shift right click on this. And this is now bound to the overworld. And if we grab an anvil and we rename it to home, let's see, we should be able to pull one of these out. Also, can we learn that? Yeah, let's go ahead and teach it. I love that we can just teach a thing just like that. But yes, we can call this one home. And so we should be able to now teleport back home once it's put inside the anvil or inside of the dislocator pedestal. Now, let's go ahead and head back. Let's head into the Twilight Forest and find a nice little area. So I have this set up. It might take me to the original portal that or I just get hit by a wolf. Ow, okay. But I need to find a good area here that is going to be kind of open, preferably not next to any kind of enemy location, and somewhere that's relatively flat as well. This actually might be a good place. Taking over the maze? No, that's probably not a good idea. You know what? Taking over the maze might not be a bad idea. Also, I can just one-shot this boss with this tool. I was just able to instantly one-shot. Oh, that is, that's a lot. So yes, I think if I just tear this down a little bit and get rid of a lot of the leaves, this will probably be a pretty decent place to do all of our Botania work. Now, I would consider this block pretty much the center right here. So I will go ahead and bound, oh, not this one, bound a new one to this location. And we will call this Botania. And we will know that this is the Botania location. So what I need to do is just simply place down the pedestal and put the home location in it. Now you can use these without placing them in a pedestal, but they'll take durability. Now in this case, if you put them in here, they no longer take durability and will teleport you right to that location. Look how amazing that is. Now me and Greg here, well, we have some work to do. I've got to get this area looking much nicer so that way it can support our Botania work to come. Now, something that would be very helpful while I'm in that dimension is a way to access my refined storage from within that dimension. And that's where a dimensional card is going to come into play. This is an add-on mod for refined storage. One of the reasons why I also chose refined storage in here is because of all these handy add-on mods. But yes, I just need to simply make some range upgrades. So there's that. I can put that in there and then craft a range upgrade, store that. Oh, I just love being able to just craft things like this. Now, of course, these are going to need to be used to craft this. And now we have a dimensional card. And because we have infinite power, due to our creative energy cube that we have, we should be able to put this in here. And it is now going to have an infinite range. And we should be able to access this now cross-dimensionally. So I hope. We go here. Yes. So long as that is chunk loaded like that, we can now access our refined storage system. Man, this tool is just so powerful. Oh, all of this wood just instantly mine. So fast. Now that everything is cleared up, it is time to place down the lanterns that are going to light everything up. So I left these here so that way hopefully this can get this area nice and bright. Oh boy, it does cause a bit of lag, but I'm making it. I'm making it. Now I think to get all of this stuff automated and actually get the process up and running, we are going to need to get our network from refined storage over to the new dimension. And so I'm going to need a network transceiver and receiver. So all of these items right here. And then of course, we're going to need to set them up. So down in here, I will just simply hook in with a cable. And we'll be able to get one in. Now, the transmitter, this needs to go here. This is going to receive our network card. And so if we just simply travel to our Botania area, I'm going to go ahead and just right here, I'm going to go ahead and place in my receiver, shift right click on this with the card. And then when we go back, we should be able to just add it to our network. And so this is going to allow us to hook in all of our cables and stuff into that dimension. And this is where my first Botania automation is going to take place because we already have all of the petals and flowers that we have found. What we need to do now is with Botania make a petal apothecary, which is not going to be something I'm going to automate as of right now. But we need this petal apothecary with some water in it. So I'll simply grab a bucket. And what we should be able to do is make ourselves a pure daisy. Basically the flower that I have on my head, right? So pure daisy is made with just 4 white petals and seeds. So white petals, seeds. And when we put this all together, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and with the seed, we're good to go. We have ourselves a pure daisy. And I immediately am going to automate this. And what this flower does is over time, it's going to convert logs and stone into their living forms, which is going to be living rock and living wood. So these don't have EMC values, which mean these are going to be something that we need automated. Thank goodness we now have something to automate. And then to automate it, it's not going to be too crazy to do. We basically need constructors, and then we also need deconstructors. So I'm going to go ahead and place down the deconstructors, and then the constructors are going to be placed on the bottom here underneath these guys. And so what will basically happen is this is going to place, right? And then we're going to have the deconstructors, which are going to be these, right? So up top, these are going to be the breakers, and these are going to be the placers, the constructors. And so We just have to set up the filters in them to tell it what to do. And I want it to do both. As you can see right here, we have it doing stone and logs. And this will be plenty. This will end up producing as we're doing everything else. We won't have to really worry about anything else. So more constructors. And as you can see right here, we have a filter slot. So I can say only put in stone. And it should only place in stone at any given moment, right? I am going to need my dirt back because I ended up breaking my flower from the looks of it. Yes. Okay. So pure daisy goes right here. Yep. Now we see the pretty particle effects. And perfect. So yes, I'm going to continue getting these placed in. This is going to place in stone. And then this right here is going to place in logs. Now up here on the top, we want to make sure these are all in whitelist mode. And we only want them breaking the thing that we tell it to break, which is going to be these living variants. And of course, we will do living here. And we should be able to just drag the different materials in. For example, this is going to be living wood, and we can just drag it into our destruction filter. So just like that. Of course, it's not going to do anything just yet. As you've seen, though, they all got converted. But yes, once we do this and get this all filtered out and hook it into a refined storage system, it will then immediately start working and putting the things where it needs to go. So let's get this plugged in here. This can be routed up to the top. You can see everything got broken there and placed in, which means it's working. And those items that are broken, they get put right into our refined storage. So we should now have our living material that we're going to need. Now for the automation of the Petal apothecary, I want to make this as easy as possible to understand. So down below, I want to basically allow water to always be filled into here. And this has always been a process that's been kind of tedious with Botania. But modular routers makes this incredibly easy. And the fact that we have an EMC link is going to be even easier. So underneath here, I'm going to place a modular router, and then I have an EMC link. Now I am going to need water buckets. And I'm just going to simply make sure that this is going to be extracting the item water bucket. Now, you can't really pipe fluids into this. You can't pipe water into the Petal apothecary. So we instead need to use this like a user, and we need to right click the bucket. So we can say only right click a very specific filled bucket to the top, and we'll make sure that it is going to be right clicking, as you can see right here. So that is going to activate the water. Now we need to pull the bucket in, and that is going to be here, which we're going to have a puller upgrade. This doesn't really need anything except for being told where to pull from. And then the sender upgrade is going to send the empty bucket, specifically with the whitelist, back into this EMC link. So that way we always have a filled bucket in this slot. So if we put our puller upgrade in here, that should pull a bucket, and as you can see, it's full. And now our sender upgrade goes in here and should send that out. And now we have a new filled bucket pulled back into the buffer. This is now technically automated. Now I want to set out to produce a ton of mana. And well, before we actually get the creative source, to do that, I was going to use the Kekamoris. This is going to require a little bit of setup to get. As you can see, we need a rune of gluttony, but the biggest part is this pixie dust, which is gated behind the Elven Gateway, which means we need to, well, already have a sustainable mana source and have made at least one Terra still. Thankfully, though, all of our generating flora here is actually EMCable, surprisingly. Now, of course, still, I think the fastest way to get mana early on is still the Endoflame. It really beats out everything. So we only need one, and so we can make this incredibly fast just by using refined storage, because you can actually pull things out. So, and just like that, we now have electric magic, as you've seen there. We have Endoflames. So we need to fuel these Endoflames, and I should be able to do that pretty quickly with, yet again, modular routers. So modular routers set up with charcoal going into each of them. Actually, just to make things a bit cheaper, we could definitely go with regular charcoal. Yeah, I think going this way would be much cheaper. I mean, it doesn't really matter though at this point. Now, of course, to get these to go ahead and place charcoal, which are going to fuel our Endoflames and ultimately generate us some mana, is that we're going to need a pressure plate on top of here. So this is a simplified version of a vanilla style that you can do, but you're going to need to place a pressure plate on top of here. And then you're going to use a dropper module with the up setting set. So we're going to have that. It's going to be placing items up. Before we place this in, let's go ahead and set this though to redstone low mode. That way, when we put this in, it's only going to drop 1 charcoal, as you can see right there. And so for all of these, this is pretty much going to be the exact same setting. So you can do this in bulk by taking all of your cards, selecting up, and then placing 1 in. And you're going to notice, so long as there's a pressure plate here, that it is only going to drop 1. So perfect. Now, if you want to increase your stack, which we're going to be doing, I recommend also placing 1 stack upgrade in here as well. That is going to make it drop like 2 charcoal, which is going to help power multiple endo flames. So now, of course, we are also going to need a wand. That way I can link these directly to this. And I have this just here so we can get enough initial mana to be able to craft a bigger mana pool setup. So all we have to do now is just place in enough endo flames. And of course, these are going to power all of these. This is a very, very simple little setup here that should get quite a bit going. Of course, we're going to need some grass to extend this. But yeah, in reality, this should produce quite a bit of mana quite quickly. As you can see, we're already building up a little bit that's noticeable, and I would say that's quite a bit. So as you can see, a whole area filled up with these as they're EMCable. And this is already filling up so fast. Like I just finished placing them all in and it's already at that point. And because these are directly connected here, they transfer incredibly fast, way faster than they would normally be able to transfer. So guys, with this, we now have pretty much all of the things set up and ready to go to excel us incredibly fast into, like I said, the creative items. Next episode, we're going to be going deeper into Botania, and we should be able to easily, by the end of next episode, have ourselves an everlasting guilty pool. I hope you guys are ready for that. If you are, click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And of course, ring that beautiful notification bell so you guys will be notified when I publish a new video just like this one. I hope you learned something new. And of course, guys, it is now time to thank the supporter of today's video. And that huge thanks, by the way, is going to go out to Trinitesian. I hope I said that right. Thank you so much for your amazing support, by the way, becoming an amazing supporter over on the Discord, becoming a Discord premium member and supporting in one of the best ways possible. Oh, you absolute beast. Thank you so much for your amazing support, and I really do appreciate you. And of course, guys, if you are looking to join the Discord, all you're going to do is go to discord.gg/ChosenArchitect and join the amazing crew over there. And of course, you'll make Greg really happy. I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye.